Hi everyone. So what I'll be starting off with, I want to do a full course on quadratics for CSEC because there shouldn't be a reason why anybody is failing maths, to be honest with you. So I would like to add to the wealth of videos that there are already online, but in a way that it is a little bit more methodical, right? So what I want to do, I want to take a particular section of the math syllabus, in this case quadratics, and break it down into a few different sessions. So it's manageable and anybody can watch these videos and eventually learn how to, for example, deal with quadratics in the CSEC syllabus or according to the CSEC syllabus or any other syllabus which is very similar to it, right? So um, the first topic that I want to start off with under this is the basics, right? And actually, it doesn't even need to be the basics. I can actually change this here, right? And I could start off with expansion of brackets, right? So actually change that to the expansion of brackets. Now, this course, right, as we do in this course in quadratics, there are some things that you need to know from before, right? And we will call this the pre-knowledge. Now, I know that there will be some other teachers watching this as well, and you will have your critiques and that's fine, right? I am doing this just as an assistance to help students who are looking to learn about this topic online. So the pre-knowledge, it might be all the pre-knowledge that you need to know, but as the important ones, you need to know how to deal with operations on negative numbers, right? Negative numbers. And when we say operations, we mean addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You also need to know some basic algebra. So operations with algebra. Operations, right? Operations with algebra, right? So addition, subtraction, multiplication with algebraic expressions, right? With algebraic terms. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division of algebraic terms. Good. And this is essentially it, right? You need to know a few more things, but we don't need to go much more. Now, these are things that you all could look up and figure out, but just so you know, you need to know these things before we come into it. They are not crucially important as we will be going through the topics piece by piece and we taking we time, nothing too hard with it. But just in case you need a little bit of a refresher, feel free to look these up before you start with this course. So, the CSEC quadratics course, let's start off with what we call the expansion of brackets, right? And what do we mean by brackets in maths to begin with? Good. So when we say brackets in maths, let's say for example, we say 2 brackets 5p minus 4. Right now, in maths, usually when you have a letter, right, or variable, or unknown, and then or number next to each other or next to a bracket, it usually implies multiplication. So 2 brackets 5p plus 4 means 2 multiplied by everything inside that brackets. Yeah. So what we do to expand, it means to open out these brackets. So we take this 2 and you multiply it by 5p, and we also take the 2 and multiply it by negative 4. So 2 multiplied by 5p is 10p, and 2 multiplied by negative 4 is negative 8, and that's it, right? That's the basic expansion. Let's go again. Let's say, for example, we have negative 3 brackets 4 minus 2m. Now, you will notice I will not usually use the same variable repeatedly. The variable is your unknown quantity here, right? The reason is that a lot of teachers tend to stick around with x and y strictly. But in real life, we use these things as placeholders for real quantities like temperature, time, profit, loss. Those are variable quantities. So the letters may tend to change. Yeah. So let's expand these brackets. So negative 3 brackets 4 minus 2, that means negative 3 multiplied by whatever is in the brackets. So you take this negative 3 and multiply it by each term inside. Negative 3 by 4 is negative 12. Negative 3 by negative 2m. A negative multiplied by a negative is a positive. So negative 3 by minus 2 is positive 6m. Right? Now, what is this process that we use? The reason why we know that this is true, this is what we call the distributive law of the distributive law in mathematics, right? So distributive law, commutative law, associative law, those are some basics that would have been done maybe around primary school into Form 1, right? But this is what we call the distributive law, how we distribute one operation with respect to another one. Good, so let's go again. So let's say we have 5 minus 3 into a minus 2. Now, wanting my students, and I've taught hundreds of students over the years, if not thousands, right? I will always tell them, see negative numbers, be very, very, very careful once you have a negative number. So let's see what this says here. Minus 5, sorry, 5 subtract 3. And remember, when the 3 is next to the brackets, it means multiply by a take away 2. Good. So what we see here is that we have multiple different operations. Now this is where the whole realm of BODMAS comes into play, right? And this is what we call the order of operations. Now B means brackets. So let's just clear up something. And this is why I was initially calling this the basics, right? Brackets. Now in primary school, this may usually be enough. But as secondary school teachers, we are supposed to clarify this a little bit more for you all. What does brackets mean? Brackets means to do what is inside the brackets. Inside the brackets. It doesn't mean do operations outside the brackets. So do what is inside the brackets. That's what this B stands for. Now, I'll come back to O in a little bit. D and M. Now, usually, this is how I teach this. D and M, as we know, this is division, or multiplication. Now, the reason we say this is that whichever one comes first from the left between these two, you do that one first. So whichever one comes from the left, comes from the left first, right? Do that one first. Do that one first. So what that means is if division comes first from the left, you do division first. If multiplication comes first from the left, you do that first. And similarly, between these two, addition, right? I'll just shortcut this thing here, or subtraction, same thing here. Whichever of those two, addition or multiplication, comes first from the left, you do that one first. So if addition comes first, you do that first. If subtraction comes first, you do that one first. Good. Oops. Right? So between those two, division and multiplication always comes before addition and subtraction. But between these brackets, whichever one comes first, you do that one first. Now, O. In primary school, your teachers would have called this off. But off in primary school means to multiply. We see the problem with that is that we have multiplication here already. So why do we state multiplication? O actually stands for the word order. And order is just another name for powers or exponents. So ideally, and remember powers, for those who are not sure about powers, you mean like this, 2 to the power of 3, right? 5 to the power of 8 and so on. So if you have a power occurring in the question, after you do the brackets, what is within the brackets, then you apply a power, right? So I just had to go through BODMAS here for you all. But in this case here, let's see what we have. So 5 subtract 3 multiplied by e minus 2. According to BODMAS, Division and multiplication always comes before addition and subtraction. So you can't do the subtraction here first. A lot of people will say 5 minus 3 is 2, but that's incorrect. In this case, you can't do subtraction first. You need to do multiplication first. So this becomes 5. And now you take negative 3 multiplied by a minus 2. Or you could take 5 minus, right? No, actually we could take that at 5. Negative 3 multiplied by a minus 2. Negative 3 by a is negative 3a. And negative 3 by negative 2 is positive 6. And now we could say 5 plus 6 is 11. Take away 3a. We can't subtract 3a from 11 because they don't have the same terms. If you had an a here, well, then you could do that. And this is your final expansion here. Yeah? So, nothing too bad so far. Again, this is the basics. You don't need to watch this video if you already know expansion. Right? So feel free to go on into any of the other videos if you know how to do these things already. Right? So let's go with another one just like this. Let's go with 8 minus 3x into 2 minus 4x. So things get a little bit complicated here. So again, if we break down the operations in this question, we have subtraction, but we also have multiplication. So what we have here is 8 minus 3x multiplied by 2 minus 4x. So we don't need to use the 8 right now. We can leave the 8 as is. This is negative 3x by 2, which will give us negative 6x. A negative by a positive is a negative. And then negative 3x multiplied by negative 4x is plus 12x squared. Yeah? And this is the expansion here. You really need to be careful with respect to negative numbers. Right, let's go one more like this here now. Let's say we have 9e, I use e already, 9p minus 7 into 3 minus 5p. Let's see what happens here. This gives us 9p again. This is take away 7 multiplied by 3 minus 5p. So what we will get here, we will get 9p take away. So this takeaway also acts as a negative in this case. Negative 7 by 3 is negative 21. Negative 7 by negative 5 is positive 35p. Now you look through the question and see if you have any things with the same basis. This is 9p plus 35p. Now again, p is a quantity, right? We don't know what it is. Let's say in this case it's the um, the number of a screen, right? So let's say that you have 9 pixels plus 35 pixels. This will give us 9 plus 35. Now, basic addition and subtraction, you know, you have to know this for this section here. You are doing a course for Form 4 maths. Good. So 9 and 35 will give us 44 pixels minus 21. And that's it. Right? Again, P just stands for a quantity, is something we don't know the amount of. Right? So we operate with it as such. So this here is simple, the first session on simple expansions, right? Now, this will bring us to the end of the first session. The next session will come on where we have slightly more complex expansions. When we have two brackets, how do we expand that? All right, now with my videos, I will post a link to a Dropbox where you will get worksheets on each video. So you could get the worksheets there and you could feel free to try out the worksheets, and I will also post the solutions there in the same Dropbox as well, in the same link, so you will get the solutions for each worksheet. So at that point, you could work out and see how well you have done. So under this video, feel free to look out for the worksheet for this year, and feel free to leave any comments. If you see any errors or anything on the screen, I'm just doing a quick video. So, you know, sometimes I might make a little error, and that's okay, right? So just know that I am there to help you all out, and you could leave any comments that you have at the bottom of the videos if you need more assistance. So I will see you all in the next video. Take care.